The night before the students that we work with take the SAT, we always try and get them to be calm, collected, not be too stressed out. The test itself is stressful enough. We prepare them, we make them feel comfortable that all the questions are going to look the same, but at the same time, you know what? We know that everyone's nervous. So I had a student once. She was going to take the test. I didn't want her to be nervous. She was one of the most nervous students I'd ever worked with. Even in the practice exams, her hand would literally shake as she was filling out the bubble sheet. So the night before I called her and I said, listen, what's the worst that happens? You get sick, you throw up all over yourself, and we cancel the scores and you take it again. No big deal. We both laughed. She got off the phone. The next day she called me at 1 o'clock after the test was over, and the first words out of her mouth were, Scott, the worst happened. It's like, oh no, you've got to be kidding me. You threw up all over yourself? She started laughing hysterically and said, no. I walked into the classroom and in the front row was a student who was literally green from the moment I saw him. He was so much more nervous than I was. I had prepared, I knew what was on the test, I'd taken practices, I'd studied my vocabulary. There was no reason for me to be that nervous, and I certainly wasn't as nervous as that kid. Well, section 3, middle of the section, he starts gagging. And then throws up all over himself in the middle of the test. The entire class shrieks, everybody is yelling. To make matters worse, the kid sitting to the right wanted to pull his backpack out of the way, and the kid who had just thrown up turned and threw up all over him. So now, the worst that can happen at a test isn't just that you throw up on yourself, but that you spit your Cheerios on the kid next to you who has to sit and finish the test while pulling things off of his arm. At the end, the girl did incredibly well, got the best score she had ever gotten. We laughed about it, and I use it as a warning to students before they take the test. Look, in the grand scheme of things, it's just not that big of a deal. You can always take the test again. But if you hear somebody throwing up, make sure you move out of the way.